Hi, this is Reasons Are Several, a weekly podcast where we don't actually record weekly. My name is Matt. With me is Neil. What's up, Neil?
I am freaking killing it, Matador. How are you? It's nice to see you again. I've missed you.
I've missed you too. I've been able to see you on a couple of videos, but you've not been able to see me except for that one dick pic. So
that's right.
It's been a little bit of a break for you, and I'm sure it's been hard.
Solid pic, though. I want to know how you got that much glitter to stick onto it, but looked good.
Well, you know how glitter gets. It's just you can't get that shit off.
I like that you had pink playing in the background too, because it was kind of like a vid pic, you know?
So we need to go back a little bit because before we can go forward, we need to go back.
All right, sounds good.
Didn't you have some crazy shit going on Memorial Day weekend? Didn't you work the whole weekend?
Yeah, I had a soccer tournament that I had to work. Oh, we should say real quick, Matt, before we get any farther, why don't you tell the people what kind of podcast we are?
Well, I kind of did at the top of the show.
Fair enough.
But it's a podcast where two guys shoot the shit on a random variety of topics, whether that's sports, news, poop culture. Culture. It actually sometimes is poop culture.
It is, yeah.
Technology and my fear of it, things like that. And we are recording via live stream on YouTube.
Right.
So if you hear us make some occasional comments to people, they are actually there. They're not not figments of our imagination.
Hi, Annalisa Trangelo. Thanks for dropping by.
You know her. You know that dude. Did Neil send Matt's dick pic to Zero's vet?
I would have. Me and Dr. Callie, we've got this text thing going about butts and peepees and ripped off toenails.
Oh, man.
No wonder Zero's toes look bloated. Yeah.
So you were working the soccer game. You were the ref.
I was the hooligan.
Oh, the one.
I just
designated hooligan.
We have 7 soccer fields, and they were all being used, and I was the designated hooligan for all the games. So I would just run and just whack people in the head.
And you would go back and forth though, but playing both sides.
Oh, you know I do. You know that's how I roll.
I assume.
Come on.
So you were busy all weekend. That sucks. I thought you were supposed to have the whole weekend off and chill.
Well, it also sucked because it was Memorial Day weekend, so there was a lot of traffic. We also have Lake Berryessa near us, so there's a bunch of families going up there camping and boating and all that. And we had the 3-day concert in Napa, Bottle Rock. So getting back home, even though I only had to work a few hours in the morning, they weren't full days. Getting back home was a disaster. That's French for disaster, just so you know.
Gotcha.
I've been
that E and the R.
I've been. My buddy just got back from Europe and he spent some time in France, so I've been working on my French.
Okay.
Yeah. Tying it all together.
That's where
all
it comes
together.
from.
Yeah.
And then, so I had not a lot of stuff going on that weekend, but we had to start on this project. My older son, I have two boys for anyone who does not know. And they're just bastards. No,
Matt Jr.
The older guy, he's 9, had a project. He could either write an autobiography or do a bridge, like a model bridge.
Oh, okay. Like out of matchsticks?
Well, a little more involved than that.
Oh.
Went with the model bridge and did. I wanted to do a suspension bridge, kind of like your Golden Gate.
Okay.
So had to build a couple towers and get some chains that hang down and do all sorts of stuff.
So kind of like an S&M dungeon type of thing.
Couple
towers, chains that hang down.
That's right. Exactly.
Young boys. I don't know.
Chains, whips, young boys. It's all there. All the elements are there.
Yeah.
But it got me thinking, at what point do you get too involved with your kid's project and it starts to become a little too much of your own because you want to make it look good?
Right.
And that's a concern. Because he also had a project back several months ago where they did a project on different Native American tribes. And he had to write a kind of a report up about it.
That's why you wanted Annalise to go up there for the weekend.
That's right. A personal interview.
That's right.
No, but and it was one of those where we would go through what he wanted to write, and I'm trying to lead him down the path to good writing.
Right.
And then he'd say stuff and I'd be like, well, you might say this.
Nice.
And I'm like, am I guiding him too much? And my wife was kind of taking over. Sorry, my lady friend was taking over kind of the lead on the bridge project. She really got into it.
Right. She went full engineer. She's
kind
like,
of full engineer. Yeah. I mean, definitely was making him do everything along the way. But I kept referring it to it saying, your bridge is coming along great, honey.
That's great.
It's not my bridge, it's his. So, did you ever have that when you were growing up, like where your parent like helped you a little too much and you felt because the thing is you want it to look good, you want them to do well, you're also trying to teach them, but you also don't want to like turn in some fucking masterpiece where the teacher's like, "Come on, man."
Right. So I had 2 projects where my dad totally took over out of like maybe 50. Besides that, my parents, like I'd say like, "Oh, I need to build a volcano." And they were like, "All right, well, good luck with that." And that was it. I was like, "All right." They were always way too busy working and doing other stuff that they really like. They hardly ever came to any of my games.
Oh no! Do we need to cue the sad music?
No, I didn't know. I just thought that's the way it was. So, but I did have this. I had to make a robot costume for a school play. And my dad, for some reason, was like, "What are you making?" And I'm like, "Oh, robot costume. I'll just a box and I'll paint it. I don't know, silver and put some." My dad's like, "Oh, no." So he went freaking off. And that was, but I think it's an age thing. I think it's like once the kids hit like maybe sophomore in high school, then they're kind of on their own.
Maybe a little earlier.
But until then, it seems like parents, looking around back then, it seemed like parents, it was the parents' projects.
It kind of turns that way. And you feel like, where's the fine line between being involved and helping and being too involved? So that was kind of the line we were dangling with there.
But that's really the only time, I mean, you talk to your kids. So I think it's good to have you be involved with that. Because otherwise, I mean, I feel bad that your lady friend is always reminding you of their names. That's weird.
That's true. Well, it's hard. I just go, you. Thing 1 and thing 2.
Hey, taller one.
Yeah. You're the older one, right?
Tall one and ugly one, come here. Oh, that would be brutal. That would be so bad.
Well, one of them looks more like me. So I'm like, hey, handsome
So
devil,
you know he's yours,
here.
My son and the other one. They're both like, wait, what?
Well, and then the other thing is sorry, Angela said Matt's helping with projects to make sure his sons visit him in the hospital someday.
That's pretty good.
I don't want them to be like my relationship. No.
That's right.
But no, I was gonna say, so I had that going on with the one kid, and then the other kid, the other one, took him to the driving range, which is interesting with a 6-year-old because they just want to, whack balls, etc. And so,
did you actually take him for like, let's do this correctly?
Oh, I'm trying to help him a little. I was like, "You gonna listen to my instructions a little bit? I'm just gonna give you 1 or 2 tips." He's like, "Yeah."
Is he in golf club or a golf team or golf something?
Oh God, no. This is just going and fucking around. This is just fucking about. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we get there and I walk up to get the balls at the desk there, and I look up and I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me. I'm not going to make eye contact. I'm just gonna go up and get my balls and see if I can get out of here without this person recognizing me." So I go up, I give the guy, my card and stuff, just want to, whatever, medium bucket. I get the thing and he goes, "Didn't I help you at Wells Fargo?"
That's awesome.
It was Stu.
That's awesome. Yeah.
The guy that helped my dad and me that kept fucking up the checks.
He tried to help you guys.
Oh my God. I was like, "You got to be kidding me." Remembers? I was like, "Yes. How you doing, Stu?"
Right.
And he goes, "I'm really sorry about messing up the checks on that," because there was some other issue that we discovered later. And I was like, "That's okay, Stu. I'm glad you remember." I was like, "Do you still work at Wells Fargo?" And he goes, "Yeah. I work here on the weekends." And I mean, I was expecting him to go put the balls up on the desk and have them just spill everywhere.
I was gonna say, did he happen to like screw something up with that too? He's like,
well, and I have a tricky last name, so of course, once again, he's like, "How is Mr. Right?" Like he just can't get it right. But it was kind of funny seeing it. It was good to see Stu again.
How's Mr. G Money?
Thought maybe I wouldn't see him.
Yeah.
G Money.
Oh, Stu.
I was gonna ask you, who do you think is more, like, who ruins golf more? And I mean, you might not care because you don't like golf as much as I do. Dogs or kids?
Oh, that's a good one. Who? That's a good one because dogs can wreak havoc on golf. I'm gonna go with kids.
Yeah, I think
because dogs
shouldn't be there, really.
Right. And it's kind of one of those things that if a dog happens to be there, it's more the owner being an idiot than the dog's like, "This is cool. I'm having a good time." But kids, like, they can ruin everything.
Well, but sometimes I went on a little golf outing to
a little golf outing. What is that?
To a place called Sun River. It's just south of Bend in Oregon. We played 72 holes over 2 days.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
So that was a lot of action.
Yeah, it's a lot of drinking.
It is a lot of drinking. A lot of drinking, and you're playing all day long. So you get up, you go, you play. You
stick with the light beer for that.
Typically, well, we also drink some liquor.
Really?
And
wow, did you hear what just happened there? I don't know what I just did.
Really
Phenomenal.
Oh my God. Sidebar, by the way, while we were in Sun River, I accidentally stumbled upon the TV station that plays Jim Rome's show.
Rome is Burning?
Not Rome is Burning. That's long ago. This is like just his radio show, but a live shot of him. So it shows one angle over here, and then it'll show another one that's kind of slightly moving over here. And it's just
kind of like the Dan Patrick show type of thing?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like that. They have a little control room where they show like the three guys who are producing the show, and then they show him. And it's just, I forgot how tough he is to listen to anymore. Because everything's this, because clones, more of me and less of you.
That's right.
No. It's his like vocal patterns are just brutal to listen to. Anyway, sidebar there.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. So we're on the second day, or was it the first day? Can't remember now because they all bleed together.
Sure.
We're coming up on this hole. Sorry. I mean, euphemisms ahoy. Ready?
Yeah.
My ball's over here.
Right.
My buddy Josh's ball's here. Got another buddy Matt whose ball's on the green.
Can't have your balls touch. If you're near a hole, you don't want balls touching.
So no, you don't. So many balls around the green. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, we look over, and here comes this fucking dog named DJ. Beelining.
Dick juice.
For Matt out in the fairway at first. He wasn't on the green yet.
What kind of pup? Happy, like a scary pup?
Like golden retriever. Like so happy but so aggressive. Like coming at him strong. So he comes at him, turns, comes back toward us, picks up Josh's ball in his mouth and takes off.
Nice. Nice.
And the owner's like, hey, like, you got to grab him. He won't listen to me. I was like, what do you mean he won't listen to you? He's your fucking dog. Like, come get control of your animal.
You want me to wrestle your dog?
Yeah, what do you want me to do? You want me to you want me to trap him? I mean, like, leg scissor him to the ground?
Oh, that'd be funny.
So then he was running around. He keeps that ball in his mouth the whole time, and I'm worried he's going to, like, choke on it. But dogs are good at that shit, keeping that stuff in their mouth. So he's running around, running up and down the bunker. And I tell the woman, I'm like, man, you got a lot of raking to do when he's done because that thing is a mess. At least he didn't shit in it.
Yeah.
So then he's sitting there. Matt's on the green now, goes up to see Matt, and he goes, oh, hey, pup. And the dog goes over, grabs his ball, 2 balls in the mouth, and takes off. Like, God damn it. And the woman just keeps yelling, you got to get a hold of him. So finally, Matt gets a hold of the dog, and he's got him by the collar. And she's like, you got to grab his collar. And he's like, I got the collar. And, like, eventually basically had to, like, Heimlich the balls out of his mouth.
By the dick.
Oh, my God.
That's not good. I mean, at least it was all dogs can be friendly, and most people know, but
it's a very sweet dog.
We have a Doberman and a pit bull. So a golden retriever running at you, on a fairway or on a tee is probably not going to scare you as much as like if a Rottweiler or pit bull was coming after you.
That'd be a little more alarming because it is full speed, full sprint. And I mean, they do it and then just run right by you. They don't like tackle you.
They can't,
but it looks like they're going to just maul you. So anyway, that was kind of funny.
But that's a fun story. If you told me that same story, but a kid ran along, like a little kid, like even a cute little toddler.
Oh, you'd want to beat his ass.
Picked up your ball and ran away, and the dad or mom was like, oh, you got to grab him by the collar. I'd be like, what a lousy freaking.
Yeah. Who are his parents? Instead, I'm complaining about the dog owner.
Right.
Get control of your dog. Is there a leash law
Which is
here?
not
What's
good.
going on?
I mean, usually dogs aren't allowed near golf courses, let alone on them.
So then it was just exhausting. We came back, and then that day I came back.
Yeah.
Had a hockey game.
Oh.
And then we went to the bar after because a buddy of ours was in town. And on the TV, we became mesmerized with the 1985 strongman competition.
Oh,
did you ever watch those?
Oh, yeah.
I
don't know what's going on with my voice today, Matt.
I don't know.
This is
Do
really
I need
weird.
to carry the show?
I do watch those sometimes.
Well, hey, all of a sudden you're like Tom Waits.
We used to watch it a lot at Candlestick during painting for the Niners or tarping, because it was always on like ESPN 12 or something, like for days on the weekends.
Right.
So it would always be on, and I it mesmerizes me. I love it.
It's insane. The
cable toss and all that.
Well, what was it?
The cable toss, the big stick, pole thing.
Sure. They were in some like European fishing village or something.
Okay.
It wasn't a big town. And so the first thing you see is them pulling trucks. You know, they're down in a harness like the fucking reindeer pulling the sleigh.
Right.
But then they have them doing all sorts of other stuff, like lifting wine barrels over their head. There's a really intimate game of tug of war where like they're like this, like you kind of do a split grip, and you have your feet next to each other, and the one guy basically pulls the other dude on top of him. That's how you win.
I know. It's pretty sexy.
It's insane. And then what was the other thing? They had some game at the end where like you literally were running down to a boat and pulling off what looked like a big crates of oysters. I'm sure they were actually like bricks.
Right.
Carrying them up and putting them on a truck.
Yeah. I like
what are these fucking competitions?
I saw one where it was just a giant boulder. They just had to pick up a giant freaking rock and then run with it and put it down, pick up another rock and run back.
It's so
I'm like,
weird.
All right. Yeah.
At one point, they clearly this was before the days of having kettlebells. Maybe they had them hold ropes out to the sides with bells attached, like full on like brass bells. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
And every guy had his first name on his fucking awesome tank top.
Oh yeah.
So
it's almost like it's almost like a slinglet too, right?
Oh yeah.
And the legs on those people are freaking.
It's hilarious.
You got to squat a freaking VW bug 15 times, and you're like, what is going on?
And
here?
how do you train for this?
The keg toss, all of that's it's awesome.
Oh, it's amazing.
Magnus von Magnus von Magnus von or something like that.
What, the guy who won?
No, Magnus von Magnuson. That was one of the guys that I remember watching. I think his name was Magnus von Magnuson or something.
Well, they seem to have. I don't know if there was
named after a large condom.
Magnum. I think they seem to have some sort of way they whittle it down by country because everybody was representing a different country. It was almost like the Olympics.
Right.
But very, very different.
Yes. Imagine the amount of food that those people eat in a day to maintain.
So many calories. Yeah. That's like double Michael Phelps. You know what's been bugging me though?
No. Your kids, your dad, your family.
No.
What?
Kind of
Lady friend?
my native iPhone app for podcasts on my phone.
Nice. Well, let me tell you. Oh, guess who's online?
Paul Meyer is online.
Let me tell you this, Matador.
Yeah?
Our good friend Courtney of the Quadcast, also known as the Quad Father. There's a lot of quad going on. Yes. I believe he really likes off-road utility vehicles.
That must be what
I'm thinking. Yeah. Introduced us to something called Playapod, which is an awesome podcast catcher / player.
Not Playapod.
I wish it was.
Yeah.
I really do. Hey, Playapod.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's Playapod.
Is that your dog?
No, that's a neighbor's dog.
Okay. Go ahead.
He's on the golf course. He's on the golf course right now.
Get back here, DJ.
So if for those, I use the Apple because I have an iPhone, so I use the Apple because I don't like the Stitcher or Spreaker. I mean, I like them as companies, but their apps just don't do it for me. So I use the Apple, and or as you would like to say, the native. Right. And
I know when I said native and paused, you got real nervous.
I was like, oh, Jesus.
Where's he going?
Throwing Annalise under the bus. And I've been looking for one. When we had our own app, it was the best app ever, But since we don't have that anymore.
You got rid of that?
Yep.
No.
It's been like a year and a half.
I think it's still on my phone.
That's awesome.
I can get rid of it.
So anyway, I tried it out, and this app is freaking cool. So if anybody's looking for an amazing podcast app, I'd say give it a shot. You go to playapod.com or go to it works on iOS or Android or whatever you have.
Right.
And also because we want to get pimped by Playapod, I'm going to say this to you, Matt. This episode is brought to you by playapod.com. The best cross-platform,
Go ahead.
The best cross-platform app for iOS and Android. Just visit playapod.com and download it for free.
Fucking A.
Fucking B. It's got 2 holes, buddy.
Oh, shit. I'm anxious to try it out because I have caught wind of it.
Angela says she loves Pocket Casts.
You know what? I think I downloaded them a while ago and tried them out, but I for some reason didn't stick with it. I'm not sure why. But I'm gonna give Playapod a shot. I added a few, probably more like 10 podcasts to it, and so I was gonna check it out and see if it works. It sounded like it had some cool features. I listened to their podcast. They have a podcast where they talk about the features.
Right.
And it seemed like it had some pretty cool stuff.
It's neat because you can do settings for the individual podcast. It doesn't have to be for the app. So you can have different settings for every single podcast you subscribe to, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
Big Mama said that the dog you heard barking was actually hers. It's her dog, Fugazi. It's a great name.
I love that name.
Yeah.
Big fan of the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, thank you. Playapod.
Playapod.
Go check it out. Playapod.
It's going to be Playapod to me.
I didn't mention that my roof got completed last time.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to interrupt you, Matt, because this is way more important than your roof. Normally, on Tuesday nights when we record, Matt, you know what it is here at this Trangelo household? It is burrito
night.
And I was a little disappointed because our local burrito place, which makes excellent burritos, and now that I'm not eating meat, they don't make a great veggie burrito. The veggies they put in there are carrots and potatoes. Ooh. Not exactly what I'm looking for when I'm having beans and rice also in a burrito.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided I would go ahead and make my own burrito for burrito night, because then I can make all this stuff the night before and then just kind of microwave it the next day.
And I've seen you. You know how to handle burritos.
I could handle yeah, I'll leave that there. So I did that today. I got it all ready and I have it ready to go. Just microwave it. No, it's way too much work. The whole point, and Annalise brought this up, the whole point of doing burrito night was that didn't have to cook, didn't have to do anything.
Because you're already too busy recording this program.
Right, and usually working. I didn't today, but I screwed up, Matt.
Well, so what are you going to do to remedy the situation?
I don't think I'm going to be making my own burritos. I think maybe,
you need to find a new place.
I'm thinking I might have to.
Or don't get
at
burritos.
This point,
get something else.
Right. Or at this point, I'd almost rather just do like the veggie burritos from Taco Bell, because at least they're gross, but they have more veggies in them. I don't need a potato burrito.
They're gross. I
love Taco Bell.
I thought that Taco Bell's like fresh menu or whatever it's called, Fresca menu, whatever it's called, is supposed to be the healthiest of all fast foods.
It is.
It's just that everybody eats the shit.
Right. If you're going to go to Taco Bell, I don't want Fresca.
Gotcha.
If I go to Taco Bell, I want those terrible bean burritos.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they have like the 7-layer burrito, which is all veggies. And they have like anyway, they have something else too. So, but anyway, I screwed up, Matt.
Well,
and I've got 8 freaking flour tortillas I have to find.
Maybe you should start eating meat again.
Right. No, because my workout regime, as I like to say,
regime, right,
as well as my new way of eating is paying off.
Good.
I'm down to like 3 chins, bro.
I'm glad that you're making progress. 3 chins only.
Only.
Let me see. I can't see behind that mic. Let me see. There you go. Yeah, it looks better. Fatty needs to get back working out. This guy. I've taken advantage of the time at when I was in Vegas and then when I was golfing to just not give a shit about working out at all. So I need to get back into the act.
What we need to do is we need to set you up with P90X or a T25, but you have to watch Jim Rome while you do it. So you just get angry. Just get angry.
Can we time like a good set with him going phenomenal?
Phenomenal.
Tony can wear on you. Tony can wear on you though.
Yeah, he can. Okra.
Sean T's
I love
tough.
okra.
Sean T does too much dancing. I don't want to dance my way to fitness.
And Sean T also gets upset with his crew.
Oh, he does.
He does.
Like, you need to fucking work harder.
Yeah, he's not.
Tony's very positive.
Brian says scrambled egg and chorizo burrito. I'm a big fan of that. Yeah, because they have it's
like basically a breakfast burrito.
They have a soy chorizo, which is really good.
Yeah, it's a breakfast burrito for dinner. It's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Do it.
Speaking of Vegas,
I was
there for a conference. You know, us finance guys.
Yeah.
And it was off the fucking chain.
It looked like you had a good time.
Had a fun time. First of all, when I flew down,
hey, Matt,
I flew Southwest.
Paul Myers.
Don't say Paul Myers online. When I flew down, I flew Southwest. Do you ever fly Southwest?
I have before, yes. I flew Southwest when they were a good airline.
Yeah, I'm not.
They're not anymore.
People are getting sucked out of windows and stuff, and I just don't like the
windshields
whole queue
are shattering. Yeah.
I don't like the whole queue system because you have to like Johnny on it to check in, to get in a good seat and all that. I don't like that system at all. I like just having a seat and knowing where my seat is.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this case, I was on, and I got on kind of late, but I was able to get a window, which is great for a guy like me because then I'm just like, crunched up against it.
Mm-hmm.
Some young gal comes down the aisle, and she ends up taking the seat next to me in the middle.
She's like, hey.
And proceeds to fall asleep on me like 4 times on a short flight to Vegas. I mean, this is like an hour and a half flight.
What time was the flight? I'm sorry if you said.
Oh, fuck, like 2:30 in the afternoon?
Oh, okay.
She was tired.
She was
getting her nap in. And just kept ending up like right on my shoulder like this.
It's bad when that's the shape you're in going to Vegas. That's usually the flight home.
Right.
What did she smell bad or anything? I mean, was it a decent?
She smelled fine. It wasn't. It could have been so much worse. It just was funny because she just kept ending up on me. It was like, and then you're kind of like, do I give her that?
Oh, you should have started kissing the top of her head,
stroking her hair.
Yeah. Hey, honey.
Shh.
Yeah.
It's okay. We still got 30 minutes.
Yeah.
On the way back, I had to connect in San Jose. I don't know why I'm doing this with my fingers.
I don't know.
Got on the flight. Last guy on the plane sits next to me in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So we fly out. Everything's fine. Get there. Get on the next flight. Last guy on the plane sits right next to me.
Oh.
But this time I'm on the window or I'm on the aisle. So he's like, oh, can I sit there? I was like, sure. And I go, oh, it's you again. And he's like, did I sit next to you on the last flight? I was like, bro,
come on.
I thought we
don't do me like that.
So then he's asking me questions to be nice. Like, oh, what were you doing in Vegas? I was like, oh, I was there for a conference, boring. He's like, oh, yeah, I was there for a rave. And then I just decided to stay for a few extra days. I was like, whoa,
big time. Freaking pro.
Rave in Vegas.
I'm thinking, though, with the friend you made on the plane, the lady, every time she kind of woke up, you should have been half in conversation with her about, oh, my God, I will totally call you for that. That is great. And have her just like, what? You're like, yeah, you just gave me your number. That's awesome.
I should have done that. That would have been awesome. Yeah.
Next time she wakes up, you're like, I've never tried that, but I mean, I guess. I mean, if you're in Vegas,
they probably would have arrested me for being a creep. She wasn't that old. I'm guessing she was low 20s, so it wasn't illegal or anything, but it was certainly a big gap.
Yeah, not good. Not a good look.
No.
Jason says, I thought we had something, bro.
We had something, exactly. It's like, come on, man. Remember you sat next to me? Your fucking knee kept bumping my knee. Remember that?
Man.
You ate that sandwich right in front of me. It was so freaking loud. Remember that? God, I remember it. Anyway, so then you get down to Vegas. And when was the last time you were in Vegas? Because you go to Reno a lot.
Right. Last time we were in Vegas was, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. It's been that long.
It's been a while. Yeah.
It's been a while. So that's the extent of my singing voice there.
Just like I always
You're a much better singer. So there's all
that shit seems to disappear.
They go through the same thing every time I go to Vegas, which is there's excitement, there's a buzz, the lawlessness of the place just makes me get you going. It's really entertaining and thrilling.
And then 8 hours later, you want to go home.
Well, then it's a couple days, but after a couple days, you're like, I can't do this anymore. I can get the fuck out of here.
Right.
And so that's basically what happened.
Did you go to the M&M's place?
M&M's place?
Yeah, they have like an M&M factory there.
No, I did not go to the M&M.
That's one of my favorite places to go in Vegas.
About?
They have it's like 3 stories. They have the Kyle Busch's 18, one of his 18 M&M's cart. I think it was the. Michigan winner?
I've been to Hershey. I've been to the fucking mothership.
Whoa! This isn't a competition, bro.
You're
talking Vegas. I was trying to include, and now all of a sudden,
table right in front of you. And
now all of a sudden,
I've been to the big thing.
Well, freaking yeah. Well, I've been to Cadbury.
Fine.
Freaking big old milky egg.
Cadbury. Where does that exist?
I think the Cadbury is in England.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's more exciting then.
Well, there you go.
More exciting than Hershey, Pennsylvania. No offense, Hershey, Pennsylvania. So Sunday night is when we got in, or I got in. It was only me and my boss that were there of the people from my company. But I got in, was downstairs, immediately downstairs, on the slot machine, drinking.
Nice.
And didn't realize that the Billboard Awards were going on.
Oh, that's
in
right.
the frickin' place. That's
Nice.
what amazes me about Vegas is you walk down, I mean, they're not small, but you walk down these thoroughfare hallways with all these people going back and forth. And it's like, oh yeah, through there is a gigantic fucking stage with like Ka playing by Cirque du Soleil or whatever.
Right.
It's like these 4 doors that lead to this huge, enormous place.
Right.
You wouldn't even know is there. And so that was the case. My arms are going crazy. Like, look at me. I look like this fucking.
I was going to say, are you selling cars now? Yeah.
So anyway, it's just down this one hallway. There's like the MGM Grand, theater or whatever. It's like 10,000 people in there.
It reminds me of, did you ever see the cartoon? I don't know if it was a Popeye cartoon or whatever, but they go like in the teepee, and when they look in the teepee, it's like this huge room, and they go back and walk around it. That's what Vegas, even though the hotels are huge and they look huge, they're still bigger when you get in them. You said, there's rooms upon rooms.
If you look at them from above, like from another hotel or on a map or whatever, you're like, oh yeah, I see how it just goes on and sprawls forever. But yeah, once you're in it, where they funnel you through is relatively small compared to what everything else that's there.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see any celebrities, I'm afraid. But while I was sitting there playing slots earlier in the night and then later, got approached by a couple hookers. So that was fresh.
How do you know they were hookers?
Well, so one girl came up within 10 minutes of me being there. Came up kind of not like crazy suggestively dressed, but came over, sat down next to me at the slot and goes, "How do these even work?" So, and then like kind of wanted to watch me play.
Right.
That's a hooker.
Is it? Because I don't. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
No girl that looks like that is going to sit down and be like, I'm just going to sit down next to this guy and ask him how to play slots. No.
All right.
On your own?
And you were solo too, right?
I was solo. She was solo.
Nice.
And then later I was playing at night and some girl walked by and just like grabbed the back of my head, like kind of like the back of my head and was like, "Hey, baby," and walks right by. I was like,
You're like, oh.
So 2 hookers within like, I don't know. Sorry, call girls maybe. Within
trying to clean it up
a little bit. Within like 3 hours of being there, and then no action from then on. So they must all have like a freaking group text going like, "This guy. Finance guy ain't playing."
Group text. They have a Google Hangout going. They're like, "Hey, finance guy is not only is not playing, he's not winning. So I don't know what's going on."
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have money for us.
So you do slot. You don't do the video poker, huh?
I do a little of the video poker, but we have video poker here.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So I don't need to play it there. But gotcha. I do some slots. I like to play blackjack, but those tables either are way too freaking expensive on the minimums or they're packed.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't even get on. They did have an electronic blackjack you could play. Yeah. So I did that a little bit. Nice. That wasn't bad. Made some money on that, but
cool.
Anyway, I just wanted to walk through now all the stuff I learned at the conference. If that's cool with you,
please do. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you could finance, let's go.
It's hard without a partner in crime though in Vegas.
Yeah,
because my boss isn't up for it, and so it's just me roaming around like by myself, and that gets depressingly
Vegas
old.
Might not be the best place to hang out with your boss anyway, because if it gets rolling and you're with your boss, that could go sideways quick.
Oh, for sure. Exactly.
Yeah. For both of you, or you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So probably a good move that your boss is like, nah.
I was gonna go to, and need to try to wrap this up, but I was gonna go to see.
Hey Matt, it's our podcast, baby.
It's our podcast. That's true.
You talk about whatever you want.
This might be a long episode. I should have warned people from the start because we got a lot of shit to go through. But anyway, Vegas Knights hockey team.
Yeah.
They were in the Western Conference Finals, and Game 6 was going to line up nicely with my last night in Vegas.
Very cool.
So I went and got tickets to this area that was up high, standing room only, free beer. I don't know how the fuck that works.
Wow. Well, bunch of Natty Light for the whole night.
I think it was even like maybe a step up from that, but still,
really?
Like normally when you go to a game, it's $9 to $12 for a beer.
Right.
So to just give it away for free. So I was going to be up in standing room only, which is high up looking down. But I thought, what a cool experience. It's going to be great. And then Winnipeg fucked me because Winnipeg couldn't win another goddamn game and they won it in 5 and I didn't get to go. So I was pissed off.
Yeah. That would have been, I think you would have enjoyed. But what about, I'm not going to finish any sentences. What about the Vegas Knights making it on their inaugural season?
To the Stanley Cup final is
amazing. Lord Stanley's Cup.
That's an amazing.
I wish Lord Stanley's Cup was like a protective cup. It was just on top of a plinth. I
got a picture of me with that cup.
I like the fact that Angela said Matt smelling Vegas hooked, meaning hookers, but then she did the no. I meant like everyone would have been confused, going, "Oh, Angela's being very proper with the hookers. Don't want to upset anybody. I know they're hookers."
Well, and Brian brings up a good point. If you get out there with your boss going crazy, that year-end review might go better.
It might it might also go like, oh, Matt
Could go
saw
bad.
my private parts when I took a tumble.
Or,
my dress went up over my head.
Well, yeah, or maybe it's that, or I was gonna say, yeah, you have some dirt on them, so they have to play nice. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, so since I didn't get to go to that at the conference, they always have a performer every year, which has got to be the most ridiculous gig these people get, because I think they get paid well, but I'm sure they're like, oh my god, I'm talking to a bunch of nerds, you know?
For sure.
So 3 years ago, it was Mr. John Bon Jovi. I told you that story, right?
You did.
Yeah. A couple years before that, it was Huey Lewis. This time, it was dubbed, by the way, all the way through by the people who put on the conference, the world's greatest party band. Do you know who it is?
Andrew WK.
Have I told you this? Oh, I told
Andrew
you this
WK. I know who it is. Yeah. Right. Not Andrew WK?
It's not Andrew WK. But I was like, world's greatest party band? Like, still? We're still rocking that one?
Yeah, I don't know. I see a lot of the millennial kids throwing parties, and I don't hear them going, hey.
B-52s are
B-52s. Love Shack, baby.
Oh,
Literally, Love Shack, baby.
Do you want to guess? You know the three main players, right? There's the taller gal,
Fred.
the shorter gal, and then Fred. So the shorter gal's Kate Pearson. The taller gal's something Wilson. I can't remember her first name.
Carrie.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Do you want to guess how old Kate Pearson is, the little redhead?
62.
70.
Oh, really?
She is 70 years young. 1948 she was born.
So
I couldn't fucking believe that.
A couple people in Kiss, Aerosmith singer, Mick Mars.
Is Steven Tyler that old?
I think so.
I mean, I know like
I thought he was
Mick
a little
Jagger's
older. I thought
like
he was
that
104.
old.
Yeah.
But I didn't think Steven Tyler was.
Well, we can find out.
We can.
We have a whole
look that
chat
up.
room.
Somebody please look up Steven Tyler's age. And Mick Jagger. Fred is, I think, 62. The dude.
Okay.
And he looked so disinterested when it started. And I don't blame him. I mean, he's playing to a conference.
Sure.
And he just looked like, why am I here? They started to get going. They got a little more into it. She's always into it. That Kate Pearson chick, she's the star. Like she keeps that thing rolling. And then at one point, Fred just takes off, and they do 3 songs without him, including Rome. You're familiar? I only recognized like 4 of their songs. It was Rome, Rock Lobster,
Love Shack,
and
Brian says 70. I guess that's Steven Tyler.
That must be Steven Tyler. Can you
Bye,
be more
Heather.
specific, Brian?
Thanks for hanging out.
Bye, Heather. Yeah, appreciate it. Sorry you had to hear all that.
We apologize for our show for people that come to listen to our show. You know it's bad. The rockers now need rocking chairs. It's true.
True, for sure.
They're just gently swaying now.
So, my own
Rock
private
Lobster.
Idaho.
Okay, right. I mean, I know if I hear the songs, I'd recognize them more than just 4, but I wouldn't know their names or the lyrics. I just know it from hearing it from all the awesome parties that they played.
All the world's greatest party band. Exactly. But I mean, it was fun. I sent you a video clip.
It was good.
I hope you enjoyed that.
I did.
Because I was like second row, bro. Like sweet seats.
You were there. It was kind of funny because I saw how close you were to the pit, and I'm like, oh, Matt's going to get smacked.
Totally. We really got it going.
Finance people throwing those 10 keys around.
So it was good fun, but I think I don't need to go back to Vegas for a little bit. I'll definitely be excited to go back again, but see, all this stuff is so exhausting. I go to training in Vegas. It's exhausting. I go to golf with my friends. It just wipes me out.
Yeah.
I need vacations from my vacations.
Well, that's why you have kids.
I guess so.
Yeah. What kind of bore you and keep you grounded? I was going to ask you, tell you, this is why I want you guys or you, because I know your lady friend wants nothing to do with this, to come visit in Reno. Because it's a little like it's a step down.
It's not quite as hectic.
Yeah. Well, you'd see a B-52's cover band playing in the lounge. Only 6 seats.
Yeah, you don't get the big acts. You get the one off.
Right. Finance. Angela says Finance Mosh Pit.
Fuck, that's a great band name.
Finance Mosh Pit.
That's a great band name.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Huey doesn't sing anymore?
No, he lost his hearing. He was supposed to play Outside Lands.
He lost his hearing?
Canceled. Yeah, the same thing that happened to, was it the singer of AC/DC? Yeah.
But wait, temporary or permanent?
It's permanent, and it went real quick. Like he was able to do the in-ear things, and now he can't hear nothing.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
It's
not really.
and he's really bummed about it.
Oh man!
But he couldn't hear anybody saying, "Don't worry about it," So.
Oh, God.
So he thinks everybody hates him now.
You're trying to pick him up and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
Huey,
hey, over here,
Huey,
buddy, come on."
He won't listen to me. He won't listen to
what
me.
a jerk.
Sorry, Huey.
Yeah.
So if I can switch subjects a little, as some of you may recall, Neil has turned his back on NASCAR.
I haven't turned my back on it. I just don't like it anymore.
Well, it's about the same. You
hey,
finally
Matt,
figured out
NASCAR?
Exactly. It's dead.
Now, am I saying that right? Is that how it is?
Yeah. So the joke that Neil's referring to is years ago. God, probably been over 10 years ago now. I was down visiting my buddy Brett in LA, and we were listening to
Michaels. By the way,
nerdy. What?
Brett Michaels. You were visiting your buddy Brett Michaels.
Oh, Brett Michaels. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat like something happened there. So
Brett Michaels is in the chat.
That would be awesome. or if one of my friends was Brett Michaels, it'd be sweet too. But I was down visiting him. We were listening to like a soccer show from the UK, and on it, this guy calls into the radio show, and he goes, "Hey, do you know Jimmy McDonald or whatever?" And the guy's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Dead." It was just so shocking. So it became this joke with me and Brett where anytime a celebrity would die, we'd be like, "Hey, Tom Petty?" Like, "Yeah, he's great. I love his music." And then the person would write back, "Dead."
Dead. Yeah.
So it's kind of morbid, and
it's funny though.
Unfortunately, we had another one today. Neil got me with the old Kate Spade.
The old Kate Spade.
Sorry, Kate.
Sorry.
That was terrible, terrible story.
Yeah.
But you are doing it correct.
Thank you.
You ask if you know who the person is.
Good.
And then the person who receives it is supposed to be like, "Oh yeah," and like ask questions about it, like they don't know what's coming. Yeah. Anyway, that'll be how you find out I'm dead.
Right. Your lady friend will text me, "Hey, you know Matt?
Hey, you know Matt? You motherfucker, you know Matt?" Which one? You'd be like, "Which one? There's so many goddamn Matts around here."
Or even worse, she's all heartbroken. She's like trying to, you know Matt, and I just write back, "Nope." That's it.
or dead? Question mark. Oh, sorry.
Or dead! Exclamation point! Thumbs up.
You'll send one of those Bitmoji things. Those fucking things of you going like with the dumpster fire behind you or whatever. Oh fuck! My lady friend is so mad at you for introducing me to that because I'll send her those things every now and again. She's like, "God damn it, Neil." Anyway, we used to do a segment on here called the NASCAR Minute, originally the NASCAR Minute. And it was Neil's opportunity to talk motorsports every week. And given his distaste for the sport now, or the league, I should say, we decided to switch it up a little bit, do something that's kind of more of a round the horn type quick hitter deal that we're going to call Sports Desk. So we're just
very ingenious, very original. Yeah.
It's Sports Desk. I mean, let's just keep it simple.
We should call it Rome is Burning.
Oh, man. No, thanks. I was going to play a spliced together drop that I was going to make out of Alan Partridge doing shit from the BBC 20 years ago, but I figured you get all fucking ants in your pants about, copyright material. So we didn't want to do it.
Right.
So if anybody has a drop out there for Sports Desk, please send it
or
in.
Sports Dicks.
Either that would be fine too. It doesn't matter. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
We'll play the drop.
Yeah.
So anyway, without further ado. First up is the National Football League. We have two tidbits.
We need your help on this. Yep. Two and two. We'll be back in
First
2 and 2.
one is the rule change on kickoffs. Because kickoffs are a death trap.
Yes.
Where guys collide into each other going very fast and over large periods of space.
Right.
Large periods of space? Large.
Well, if you're doing the space-time continuum, I guess you can kind of
They travel many parsecs to hit each other.
Right.
Have you seen Solo yet? Did I ask you that?
Not yet. Going to.
It's going to be out of that
I think there's
special theater of
something.
yours.
I think there's something you have on the notes for next week that I do want to get into about SW.
Yes, we're going to talk a little bit more about Star Wars and these spin-offs and what we'd like to see and all that stuff next week. But I wanted to wait
little teaser
until you watched it.
All right, I will be watching it probably.
Maybe actually go buy a ticket because they could use the money.
Right, we probably will.
At the box office.
No,
I will say I enjoyed the movie. But anyway,
good.
So the rule changes, just to summarize really quickly. So the way the kickoffs are going to work now is those dudes all have to be on the line, and instead of a run up. It's got to be 5 on each side, so they're evenly distributed. And then you got to have 8 dudes on the other side within like a 10 or 15 yard space. So basically, they're just mashing everybody together.
Yeah.
So there's
a little
not
more
the huge
puntish.
sprints.
A little more
Right.
puntish. Yeah.
Exactly. Very much more so like that. And they don't let you do the kind of the wedge blocking thing where 2 dudes from the back. Paul Meyer is online again.
Fucking
where the
guy.
2 dudes come up and smash a dude. They're trying to like avoid they're trying to get away from 2-on-1s, which
right.
What you got? You got a problem with that?
Which is a shame. It's a shame. Those guys work out a long time to look that good for those scenes, and you're kind of, if they're into it,
it's a page from George Michael's book. Football's best when it's 1-on-1. Ball is a touchback when it hits the end zone. Don't have to catch and kneel.
No. Or as I like to say, you don't have to catch and me.
Wah, wah. And then until the ball hits the ground or is touched, you can't block.
Right.
That's going to smash into dudes. No. Right. So all of this stuff, all these rules that are so specific has me thinking a couple things. One is, I mean, basically what you can't do onside kicks anymore. Like that just completely wipes that shit out, which fine, whatever.
Right.
But why even bother having kickoffs?
Well, for that onside kick, aren't they going to do that? Have they decided if they're going to do that weird 4th and 10 thing?
What's the 4th and 10 thing?
I heard them saying like if you wanted to try
you could go for
4th and 20, something like something ridiculous. Like if you wanted to try to keep the ball, it would be like on your 10-yard line. You're on offense, and it would be like a 4th and 20.
Huh.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy and goofy.
Yeah, something insane.
That's weird.
And it could have been something that like somebody else was talking about, and it just kind of made the Twitter rounds. But yeah, I don't understand the onside kicks. I obviously they're trying to just totally eliminate the kickoff.
So this is just them slowly doing it, bit by bit, dismantling it.
Either going to be a touchback or a fair catch, I would say 90% of the time. Because if you can't block, no one can block, engage. That means
you can engage, but you can't engage the same way you could before. You can't set up a good blocking structure anymore. Right. So it's just going to be a fucking mayhem. You're just going to have dudes all running down to smash you.
That's it. So that's why I'm thinking it's going to be pretty much fair catch.
So why bother? Why even bother with kickoffs? Just have them start on the goddamn 25-yard line.
That's it.
I mean, no offense to to specialists in the league that are returners, but what's the fucking point?
No, you'll get your shot at punts and stuff like that, and then it kind of frees up that roster spot to where you can have a little more players. So maybe people don't get as injured because you're having another more fresh body.
Or you could just carry more players because you're making a fucking gazillion dollars and these poor guys are ruining their lives getting paid not nearly as much as you.
No, but
owners,
they'd probably make more money if they didn't kneel during the
the owners are kind of cocks. We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get into cocks in a minute.
By the way, the college football is changing their rule that any fair catch inside the 25, you get it on the 25. So you can fair catch it anywhere.
Oh, I don't know if I like that.
Well, again, why fucking bother? Just
start at the 25 because
it's easier.
Because then what sucks is if like you're a good kicker and you know how to on a kickoff get it into the 10.
That's over with. Yeah, that's over with. That coffin corner shit, that's over with.
Kickers are. I mean, now it's just going to be punters and freaking point after people.
Right.
It's a shame.
Point after people.
They're
PAPs. They're like, hey, Pap.
Pap got smeared out there.
Pap smear. I don't want to disappoint or frustrate any Francis Scott Key fans out there, but we're going to talk about the national anthem next.
Oh, say, can you?
See? I'll let you keep going if you want.
No, not that song.
So, Robot Goodell came out, was that 2 weeks ago, I think now, and announced the rule change regarding the national anthem before NFL games. So players and personnel are required to stand and show respect for the flag during the national anthem if they are on the field, or they can choose to remain in the locker room if they don't want to stand. Thanks, Roger. So basically, you can protest by sitting in the room out of view of TV cameras.
Right.
What the fuck is that about?
Yeah.
And then he went on to say teams will be fined for any personnel who don't stand. So the teams are fined, not the players. The players' union was not involved in any of this. This was all just straight owners, So here's some quotes I want to share from Roger that are great. Efforts by many of our players sparked awareness and action around issues of social injustice that must be addressed. So we will take away their right to raise that awareness
right.
by making them sit in the locker room.
There was so much awareness raised over the last 2 years. I feel everybody's
that for 10 years.
really, really aware.
It was unfortunate that on-field protests created a false perception among many that thousands of NFL players were unpatriotic. This is not and never was the case. So again, to clear up the confusion, we're going to make sure that players don't have the right to protest because that's unpatriotic.
It is extremely unpatriotic. And Angela said the protest has nothing to do with the flag or the anthem.
Exactly,
Angela, you are absolutely 100% wrong. These players do not like flags.
You know why?
No one's getting it. And that song is terrible. If you think about it, the song is really not that good.
But the big issue is Betsy Ross. Everybody fucking hates her.
That's right. It should be America the Beautiful. That is
a good song.
That should be it. Now Angela's saying the protest is about cops killing black people. Angela, you're missing it totally. You're not listening to what Roger Goodell is saying.
He is saying that you can raise awareness of such things, but please stop. You've done enough. Yeah. Stop raising awareness.
Yeah. I mean, okay, let me ask people this. Oh. How many flags have you actually been close to? I mean, like really up close and how many flags have you touched?
How many flags are you friends with?
Yeah.
Do you know any flags?
Right. Nobody knows flags. Nobody likes flags.
Nobody knows the plight of the flag.
The flag. Yeah. So.
So he went on to say, last quote, "We believe today's decision will keep our focus on the billions of dollars the owners make." Oops. I mean, on the game and the extraordinary athletes who play it.
Just as long as they do what we bought them to do. I'm sorry. Just as long as they do what we pay them to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shut up and play the game. Don't show any individuality.
Although I will say the NFL is really on, the front line of social issues and equality, because it's not like they have this thing go on before the season where they line up a bunch of players that are predominantly black and then give them numbers and then weigh them and see how fast they are and then bid on them later, like a month or two later.
That is true.
At least they don't do that.
They don't do that. They also do this thing every October where they wear pink accoutrement on their jerseys to raise money for breast cancer and give, what is it? 1%?
Yeah, I think
or is it less than 1%?
I think it was less than. I think it is now 1%.
Look at us.
Yeah, yeah.
The NFL just keeps fucking doing it wrong.
Might be wrong, but I had heard a rumor that the pink that the players wear, they actually have to pay for that because that's part of the money like raised. So it's like it's not like if you get free Under Armour receiver gloves. If you want them to be pink, you have to pay. So it kind of is part of a charitable donation. I don't know if that's true, but that's a rumor I had heard.
Well, it shouldn't be on the NFL. It shouldn't be on the owners.
Sure.
Those guys are struggling to get by.
Have you seen...
By the way, this decision, very much stressed by Roger Goodell, was unanimous among all the owners.
It's understandable.
So they're all cunts. Oops, sorry.
What? What? So the owners, I don't think you understand the plight of the rich white guy, Matt. I'm sorry.
I'm trying.
You're not getting it. You're not getting it. Flags are stupid. Flags are dumb.
It's all about the damn flags. Have you been intimate with a flag, Neil?
I'm sure I have.
Probably.
I mean,
rolling around with that thing on the ground.
That's right. Well, I do have Jamaican flags everywhere. I have an Argentinian flag in here too.
You probably got some fucking Jamaican flag underwear or some shit.
I do actually. You know what's funny? I think I have 3 flags in our little studio room. I'm going to start kneeling down while I record a podcast.
Just
that's it. That's it.
What are you trying to raise awareness for?
My awesomeness. I think that's a good way to get people to notice me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So last thing, although you might have one more, but the NBA, this was a question that came through from Palmer.
Yeah.
And it is Cleveland and Golden State Part 4 good or bad for the league?
Bad.
Because you think the parity is important. It's important to have different teams in there every year?
I think it would be good if there were, if the identities of the teams changed a little bit. Remember way back when we were young and the Buffalo Bills went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row?
Yes.
But their teams, like one year they had a really good, I mean, they always, obviously to get to the Super Bowl, they were a good team, but how they played did change because they had some like significant injuries and they got some new players and old players with this goal. And I know in football, I know in basketball they have too, but the teams are still pretty much exactly the same they were for part 1, 2, and 3.
Well, it's a smaller roster, so it's easier to keep those units together because football teams are 53 people and basketball teams are 15.
And usually when they lose a player on a basketball team, it's easy to find someone who plays the game similar to the person they lost.
Right.
So I don't like it. I mean, I'm happy Golden State's in it just because it's a local team for me. Mm-hmm. I don't like it because it's like watching the same thing freaking over and over and over. It's not that exciting.
Well, and it gets into the whole, like, is it more fun to watch a lot of teams be competitive with each other or watch a bunch of super teams? Because that's a big knock that people throw around. It's like, oh, I hate when these 3 guys join up and play on the same team and form these super teams. I understand the I don't know, distaste for that, but for me, it's like, hey, so people get mad because they think athletes are like, spoiled and rich and all this crap. And so then they're going to get mad if they take pay cuts to go play with their friends and try to win championships. Isn't that the ultimate goal of sport?
Right. Well, most people will get mad at anybody who makes more money than them and makes decisions that they don't want them to make.
That's true. Which is why you're always angry with me.
It's just to give it. Now, let's say Cleveland made it 4 times and even won it 4 times, but they were playing other teams. That would be more fun than, because to me, it's the 2 teams being there the whole time. I could care less if one team, like kind of the Yankees run or the Cowboys run or the Patriots run, but they've been playing different teams. So this one bums me out because it's the same freaking 2 teams.
Well, I'm sure Cleveland would like to see a different team.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's pretty tough matchup.
Yeah.
Basically 1 against 5 out there. But the other thing I think would be interesting because, both conferences, especially the Eastern Conference, is really top heavy. I just think it would be fun if they got rid of the conferences. They are top heavy.
Yeah,
you know
I know.
What I mean?
I was just thinking
fucking mind out of the gutter.
Fake boobies.
I think it would be fun if they got rid of the conferences and just played 1 through 16. So like Houston would have played Milwaukee. Shit like that. Instead of doing the Western Conference versus the Eastern Conference, I just thought that'd be fun because then you could have ended up with Houston, Golden State in the final or whatever.
True.
You end up with those teams in the Final Four that are good. I mean, just as a fan of a team in the West, of course I would like this idea more because it means that my team might actually advance out of the first round.
Right.
Because they would have played Indiana and not fucking New Orleans. But I just thought it would be fun to see some of those matchups. Just be a little bit different every year, but of course they'll never do it.
Right. No, I don't think they will.
Do you have anything for motorsports?
I don't. I was going to talk last week about, we didn't get into yet why we didn't do last week live.
We can say it really quickly. My computer took a shit.
There we go. I was going to get into the Grand Prix of Monaco and the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600, but
it's all gone. It's too late now.
Too late now.
Forget it. And there's nothing else to talk about.
There were people who won those races.
Great.
Yeah.
Cutting edge report there.
Yeah. A lot of cars. Danica crashed out, unfortunately. Her average finish at the Indy was
top 10 or
8th,
something, right?
8th.
Yeah.
And they were having a problem. They were getting too much downforce on the front of a whole bunch of cars crashed the same way. So they were getting the front end to stick, and then the back end would just whip around.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then front end would stick, but the back end would get
blasted. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you'll have something more next week. By the way, speaking of sports, I did want to mention that the World Cup is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I created a fantasy league that we can do. And it's the link to it is worldcup.predictthefootball.com. So I'll share this out on our Twitter feed and all that kind of stuff. But if you go to that website, worldcup.predictthefootball.com, and join the Reasons Are Several League, you can use the code 599459.
Jesus, that's a lot.
Again, 599459. So join that. You make picks. I think you go all through the rounds, the knockout rounds, and all that stuff. The winner will get a free T-shirt, and I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Fred is still sitting there 5 months later going, "Where's my fucking T-shirt?" I am so sorry, Fred. Fred from the Sleuthful Hockey Show. Still haven't got that off to him.
Oh,
well, he lives in Canada, so it's a little harder to get there.
You're not that far from Canada. What are you talking about?
It's not like I'm gonna drive up and give it to him.
It might be a fun trip.
Oh man, that'd be a long drive. Anyway, so go check that out. I'll share more info about that later. But do that, and then we'll do something, on the World Cup next week. We'll do a little fun segment on that.
Okay.
Go check that shit out. And get your picks in.
Get your balls out.
I know you won't because you never follow through with fantasy. So
no, that's not true. I'm just not following through with NASCAR. I dominated my football leagues. I don't think I'm gonna have time to do football.
Even when you auto draft, you dominate.
I know. I'm not going to probably do fantasy football except for ours. Our league I'll do.
Cool.
Yeah.
I would like to talk to you, Neil, about balls.
Or nuts, big balls, and prefer. I cannot lie.
You like them called nuts, right?
No.
And you like cock too,
no,
right?
God, no.
What if your cock is moist?
Oh, I don't mind moist.
Like it.
Moist
You're
is
cool
good.
Moist.
Yeah, but cock, like mine is not anywhere near the size it needs to be called a cock. Mine's like a little penis, little dicky, little pee-pee.
A little dicky.
Yeah. Cock just sounds painful.
Cock is, that's a tough one. I mean, it's aggressive.
I mean,
like grab my cock like that. Yeah.
Or I'm thinking I want to grab your cock. It's like, wow, thank you for the compliment. And now you're scaring me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little worse when you're like in a shower full of guys and the guy's like, look at his cock. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when he turns real quick and hits you in the thigh with it. You're like, God damn it. That's why I don't shower.
That's why I don't shower, period.
Ever.
This is from CNBC.com.
Yeah, cocknbc.com.
Cocknbc.cock.
Wow. So, cock, nuts, balls, cock.
That is we should come up with that suffix.
Mm-hmm.
Reasons are several. Cock. I'm gonna read some of this. Greg Miller proves you can make a fortune with anything, even dog balls, not the kind you throw around playing in the dog park. The 64-year-old inventor and entrepreneur created nudicles.
Oh yes, I know of nudicles.
Have you heard this?
Yes.
Okay. Silicone implants for male dogs to replace testicles after neutering. It's made him a millionaire.
Yeah.
Over the past 20 years, he has sold over 500,000 sets of nudicles. The average pair costs $310, though some cost a lot more, like the $2,800 watermelon-sized custom set he made for an elephant in a zoo. Is Zero neutered?
He is.
Does Zero have nudicles?
No.
Oh, poor guy.
He doesn't.
He's got nothing down there.
Nothing. He's got like this little, like it's almost like a little mohawk of skin because like they didn't take enough of the skin out. So he's got a little nut hawk.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Brian's seen this story, so he's with me on this one. Okay.
And 9 doesn't have nuts either.
Well, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
In the mid-90s, he bought a bloodhound puppy named Buck and reluctantly went ahead and had Buck neutered.
You know what? You don't have to have dogs neutered. You can just make them sterile. You can give them a vasectomy. This whole thing of ripping their nuts out is weird. Same thing with like the girl dogs. They give them pretty much a hysterectomy. You can just make them sterile. You don't have to rip their freaking guts out.
But do they still go crazy do they still get in heat and shit?
Probably.
Because that's the thing. Like I remember I had a couple.
Oh, that's the thing.
Well,
you're not having your guts ripped out.
I remember I had 2 cats, both girls.
Matt, hashtag me too. Okay, buddy?
Hashtag meow too is what's coming in this story.
Mm-hmm.
So my second cat, younger cat, little gal,
oh my God.
I let it go too long.
Little puss.
When she went into heat, I let it go too long before I had the procedure done. She was all
she
over
just
that
walked
house,
around saying,
just sticking that ass in the air, waiting for something. Just somebody give it to me. Anybody. Nice. And I was single at the time. And, times are hard. People forget. The dog, Buck, was chasing dogs in heat. So he hated putting the puppy through the surgery. So afterward, he went, when Buck went to clean himself, he loved to do that, he said. The slurping noise that was so freaking obnoxious, Miller says, mimicking a slurping hound noise. Oh, I'm glad I didn't hear that.
This guy's really into it. Yeah.
He's convinced Buck noticed something was missing. And the dog looked back up at his master. He was telling me, they're gone. What happened?
This guy's not all there.
No. He's on a different level with these dogs. He can fucking understand them. Like, what did you do to me, you sick son of a bitch? It was Bob Barker, wasn't it?
Brian says we need to tell Chris Meyer to have his nuts ripped off just to be sure.
That's a good idea. So Chris, When you hear this, that's what you should do. Just have them suckers
full
popped
castrated.
out. I think you just make a little incision at the bottom of the scrotum, they just fall out, right?
I believe, but you got to remove the whole sack. You don't want to look like Zero, Chris.
The
You don't want a
whole
little
sack. So you just have a cock.
Oh, imagine how big it would look. No, not a cock. Chris might have a cock. I don't know.
Oh man, I feel like that would be trouble. Anyway,
you think Chris's cock is trouble?
Well, there you go. There's your episode title. Not long after this, Miller and a group of 32 investors spent over $100,000 developing nudicles. At first, there was a lot of media attention. It soon wore off, and Miller was bleeding cash. For the first 5 years, I didn't know whether we would make it, he said. He was down to a single working light bulb at one point. Whenever I went from one room to another, I had to take my light bulb with me and put it in the light socket.
Jesus.
Okay, that is so dramatic.
I know.
Like what, you weren't eating? I mean, a fucking little light bulb costs, $1. You couldn't.
Yeah.
Come on, let's be real. He's making it. He's making the most of this thing. Miller began advertising in dog magazines. He did radio interviews around the country and offered free nudicles to listeners. Nudicles. He built up a network of veterinarians, and the business finally boomed. But there was a problem. The original nudicles were made of a hard plastic-like material. Customers complained their dogs made a clunking sound when they walked or sat down.
That's awesome.
I'm not familiar with dog balls like you are.
Yeah.
But do they hang at different heights like with the guy?
Not drastically, but yeah, a little bit. But you really have to be looking close. They're pretty much there. They're tucked in. I
remember having that conversation with my brother and my dad at one point about balls. Yeah. And the different heights. And it's like, it's so they don't go bong. The most popular nudicles are now made of solid silicone, which is textured to prevent scar tissue from forming. And they cost as much as $469 a pair. Woo.
Yeah.
It's incredibly gushy soft.
I wanted to get Zero just one big one.
Just one monster ball.
Just one monster ball.
He said... It's incredibly gushy soft. That is just disgusting, man. This guy's a freak show.
I wonder if this guy's going around like what do Rottweiler balls feel like? And he's like kind of
he's putting them in his mouth.
Feels them, and then he feels the ones he's got. He's like,
that's pretty gushy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nudicles come in 11 different sizes to fit a variety of pets, and he has expanded his product line to include eye implants for animals, including horses, along with stays for holding up cropped ears and allergy products for sensitive pet skin. So he's just expanded and is doing all sorts of products now.
Good for Angela is saying that Nuvaries for female dogs. I like that.
He then turned some nudicles into pendant earrings and necklaces, and he's written a book called Going Nuts.
Oh my God. Well, good for him. I mean,
That just seems a bit... the thing that's concerning here is he's making silicone testicles and eye implants. So I feel like there could be a big goof coming.
They could, yeah.
Why does my horse have a nut for an eye?
Looks like someone stuck a walnut up in there.
Fake dog balls has turned out to be Miller's most lucrative endeavor. He calls his home outside Independence, Missouri, the house that Nudicles built.
Very nice.
It comes with a man cave housing a walk-in humidor for his expensive cigar collection. Ooh. Working slot machines from Vegas and a sauna where he sweats away his stress after a day of work. You've got fluids coming out of you that you never knew existed from every part of your body. Jesus Christ, what is the matter with this guy?
Hey, Matt. Paul Myers online.
Paul Myers online. Fuck.
This guy's a little creepy.
This guy is freaking me out. It's kind of disgusting. I mean, I get it. You found a niche. You exploited it. You made a bunch of money, but do you need to be like gnawing on balls and to see that they're gushy soft and sweating out all the nasty toxins?
He should have just said, I caught lightning in a bottle. It's been very cool. I'm trying to expand my business a little bit. We'll see where it goes. And that's it.
Yeah.
He shouldn't even be giving interviews.
I just can't wait for the movie form of going nuts.
Going nuts. Angela wants to know what the financing would be on fake nuts.
Ooh, that's a good question. $469 a pair. Yeah, I mean that's like a 1 year, like 20 whatever that is, $20 a month.
You think Care Credit will cover that?
Maybe. It should. Although it seems a little more cosmetic, so they might not go for that.
Well, yeah, but it could be for therapy because if the dog's depressed, yeah,
right. Because that dog's like, what the fuck?
That's what made Zero weird. He lost his nuts, and now he's just a freak.
Thanks a lot. He's looking at you going, when are you losing the rest of your nuts, right?
Right.
Do you have any left? I can't remember.
No, I'm straight shaft.
Straight shaft. I think he's keep the scrot though. Then it's just this
No.
deflated. It's just this deflated balloon hanging below.
It looks like looks like a soccer ball that you haven't inflated yet. You know how it's like half mooned and dished out,
just kind of hanging there.
No.
I think that's enough for this week.
Oh, fair enough.
Sorry for the layoff, everybody. We obviously had some technical difficulties, which we didn't explain thoroughly. But basically, what happened is my computer sucked, and I got it fixed, and now we're fine.
It was
good to go.
sucking nudicles.
It was sucking nudicles, and it happened right before we were about to go on. So it was very frustrating, very upset. It was a tough emotional time for me.
I was very supportive.
You were like, dude, it's fine. We'll come back next week strong.
And I was set, ready to go, and I'm like, no, it's fun. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I probably could have sorted something out. I just think it would have been a mess.
No,
so.
you would have been all spun. Not good. And then you had to get ready for your
golf trip.
Meeting
see DJ the dog.
That's right.
So thank you very much for listening. You can find us at reasonsareseveral.cock. You can find us on iTunes or Stitcher or
Playapod.com.
Playapod. What's the tagline again?
Because you want it.
We should submit that to them. Hey, got an alternate tagline for you. Tweet at us at reasonsare and at angelsfreak7. You can email us at reasonsareseveral@gmail.com. We'll be back next week. We're back on a normal schedule, so you'll be unfortunately or fortunately seeing us every week on this live stream and hearing us every week.
And remember, football players hate America.
Oh, man. And remember the World Cup thing. worldcup.predictthefootball.com. Go check that out. And again, 599459.
Wow.
God, it just sounds like I'm reading like legalese at the end of a fucking document. You're
getting finance now. Finance guy jizz all over our show.
I do. I got a big wet spot I'm singing right now. I should probably go clean up. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Bye.
Peace.